I'm also reminded of the many, and I'll say almost 100 phone calls that Jonathan and I have had that have begun over the years by my saying, "Jonathan, how's the show you're working on?" And he'll say, "Well, the show's all right." "I'm fabulous. The show's all right." And the proof of this is that I would go and see most of these plays, and he was actually right. Almost every time. The show was all right, and he was fabulous.
Jonathan McMurtry likes to say he was born in a trunk in Detroit. His dancer parents toured under the stage names Johnny and Eloise Mack. He knew Eddie Cantor and Jimmy Durante and plenty of guys and dolls. When his parents divorced, Johnny and his brother James bounced around the West Coast with their mother, who choreographed for Dinah Shore and other shows. Jonathan didn't set out to be fabulous. He planned to avoid the perils of showbiz and be a graphic designer for Disney. But speaking Shakespeare, he won a national prize that took him to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, and his life changed. Jonathan's roommate at RADA was Albert Finney. The young American dreamboat palled around with Judi Dench. He studied with vocal coach John Barton. He watched the greats on stage, Laurence Olivier, Ralph Richardson, Alec Guinness, and his favorite, John Gielgud.
What he brings is a connection to an era that has passed us by. And when you hire Jonathan, you're also hiring Judi Dench and John Barton and Ellis Rabb. You're hiring all these, Jack O'Brien for that matter, all these people. There's a kind of lineage that goes with Jonathan. Especially as a teacher, it's so important for our students to understand from where they have sprung and the sense of themselves as a part of a noble profession that has noble leaders and guides that he's a very real connection to.
Craig Noel saw him at the Fred Miller Theater in Milwaukee. Noel invited him to the Old Globe in 1961. He gave him a scholarship and groomed him to be a star in San Diego. McMurtry helped found Theater 40 in Beverly Hills, where he played Macbeth and won raves in both Shakespearean and contemporary roles, while he kept working with Noel at the Globe. When Jack O'Brien became Globe Artistic Director in 1982, he was going to change everything. Jonathan didn't seem to notice my indifference, says O'Brien. I threw a series of tiny bones his way, little out-of-the-way characters, but it didn't matter where I put him. He gleamed, he glowed, he triumphed.
What I love about him the most is that he has this extraordinary sense of proportion, that he understands not just his role, but how it fits in the entire play, in the entire production. So when I think about it, 18 lines of Barnardine in Measure for Measure, just beautifully crafted Dickensian character in 18 lines. I think actors sometimes still feel that the Shakespeare, that he doesn't belong to us as much as he does to the English actors. You look at somebody like Jonathan and you know that that's just not true.
In tragedy and comedy, contemporary roles, and classics, playing heroes or villains or bit parts, Jonathan McMurtry explores character with passion, humility, and humanity.
Now the God, all this while, sheds not a tear, nor speaks not a word, but see how I wash the deck with my tears.
A master of the craft and art of acting, McMurtry has played more than 200 roles at the Globe, where he is a beloved associate artist.
If there was a category called Super Associate Artist or the King of the Associate Artists, it would be Jonathan McMurtry. He's performed, I dare say, more roles than any actor who's ever graced our stages. Over 200 roles. since 1961. He has a relationship with the community very much like you would have if you were a ball player on a team, on the Padres. People know Jonathan, they've seen him in many, many roles, and what I hear from the audience is they come for Jonathan. Although one might not think of him as a leading man, he truly is the Globe's leading man.
Despite nearly 50 years as a confirmed bachelor, McMurtry surprised even himself by getting married and having a family.
Not just surprised, he was shocked that he was getting married, because, or how it came about, because in his business and his commitment, he just never really considered marriage and family. But little did he know.
We've been married, and not necessarily good marriages. In Cymbeline, I think I was trying to bump him off. Romeo and Juliet was just way too tragic. And Long Day's Journey, well, we had a lot of problems. So every time we've worked together, it's been in a very difficult marriage.
Jonathan McMurtry, the Globe's leading man, San Diego's busiest actor, and in the memories of audiences, fabulous.
Actors live on only in the memory of others. And if that is true, Jonathan's going to live on in the memory of 100,000 people who've seen him and what he's done and been amazed by what he does. And so his lifetime is going to go way beyond his lifetime. And that's kind of what's amazing about what he brings, because he's so special on stage. People don't forget when they've seen him.